Good afternoon. How do we bridge the gap between high school and college, particularly for first-generation college students? To answer that question, I think we first have to consider what are the challenges faced by these students. Among the challenges that probably instantly come to mind would be academic challenges, and this should come to mind, because what we know is that 51% of New Mexico high school graduates, upon entry to college, require remediation. The problem with the remediation is that when students require this support, those classes generally do not count toward their degree fulfillment. A lot of times financial aid will not cover those classes. But most importantly, what we know is that when students require those courses, their chances of succeeding and graduating dwindle significantly. In 2014, a study presented to the New Mexico Legislative Finance Committee indicated that when students need a single remedial course, their chances of graduating with a bachelor's degree in 6 years drops to a 17% success rate. Add a second remedial course, and the chance of graduating now drops to 5%. So academic preparation is imperative for student success. But I want to shift your attention to something that's probably focused on a little less than academics, and that's cultural preparedness. And what do I mean by cultural preparedness? What I'm referring to is preparing students for the culture of college, those spoken and unspoken rules, the written and unwritten rules that govern how we navigate our way through a college campus. And I know a little something about this. You see, I am a first-generation graduate. My parents were both high school dropouts and teen parents. My navigation through college was incredibly difficult. I had to make decisions that I didn't know what I was doing. Among those decisions was the decision of what college to go to. And you see, I went to a private college in upstate New York that was very expensive. I chose this college for no other reason, and I didn't know the difference. I didn't know there was a difference in cost between private and state tuition. Additionally, I took countless classes that did not count toward my degree fulfillment, and classes that I actually had no interest in. Why did I do this? I didn't know. I had no idea that there was a sequence of classes you were supposed to take in order to get your degree. Additionally, I didn't know that there was a registration window. So therefore, I ended up with what everybody else didn't want. Perhaps the most humorous example I can share with you was the special topics course that I took titled Classic Horror Films. Now, to find the humor in this, you would have to know that, one, I was an elementary education major. Nothing to do with my major. Secondly, I absolutely hate any type of horror or violence. So I spent a semester analyzing horror films from start to end. So, fast forward 20 years. I'm the principal and founder of Mission Achievement and Success Charter School. And I am very proud to say that a number of our 10th grade students tested college ready as 10th graders, meaning that they were academically prepared. However, I'm disappointed to tell you that a number of those students failed that class. They failed the class not because of a lack of academic preparation, but because of cultural preparation. And you might think they didn't show up to their class. That's not the case. They turned in a final paper, a final research project, handwritten on notebook paper. You can only imagine our disappointment. But the disappointment did not lie in them, it lied in ourselves for not preparing them for the expectations. So what do we do? How do we ensure that this does not happen? Well, I'll tell you what we do. Among the things that we do is we take students on college campuses so that we bring college to life for them, so that it's not a thought in the mind, but it's an experience that they experience. We also pay for this experience for every student so that finances do not separate students. We take them on in-state trips, out-of-state trips, overnight trips, day trips. We visit community colleges, private colleges, state colleges. We go to large universities and small universities. We visit the financial aid office, the student advisement offices. We visit lecture halls and dorm rooms and dining services, and we expose students to all the services that are available to them on a campus so that they can make informed decisions about which college to go to and about what services are available. We teach them the questions to ask. Additionally, we mandate that students take dual enrollment courses so that they earn high school credit while simultaneously earning college credit. And I emphasize the word mandate. Then we learned a lesson from last semester, and we now also mandate that students complete a lab on our campus to support them with that work, to ensure that what they submit is college-level work. When I reflect back on my own experiences, I consider myself luckier than most of today's first generation, but I don't think that their success should be hinged on luck. So I call upon you, especially my fellow first-generation graduates, to take a stand. I ask you to serve as teachers, as mentors, as guides, and as advocates to our first-generation population. You see, I believe that we can bridge the gap between high school and college for students, but that bridge has got to be built on a sturdier foundation than luck alone. Thank you.